Hey YouTube, we are back with another ranked replay of these top 100 players. This time we're going to have some North American players, which is ApparentlyJack and nickdavevick. Now, nickdavevick is a guy that is an exciting up-and-comer. Can you believe that he is a youngster who looks very unorthodox, or his playstyle looks out of the ordinary and is pushing high in the top leaderboards? Does that remind you of anybody who's ever played on the channel? Could you think of 1, 2, 3, 20 names of people who have played on the channel who are up-and-coming, under 15-year-old 1v1ers who have something special about the way they play? Seems to be everything that we like to see here on the channel as one's fans. But he's going to get tested here today against ApparentlyJack, who is quick to clip on him within 30 seconds of the replay. nickdavevick has played a couple different show matches on stream, and he has played well. His most recent one was actually a little awkward because he played Wiz, but he had some troubles with his controller. It was either broken or his game input, oh my goodness, was not working. But I tell you what, his game is working just fine right here. We're going to watch this one again from Jack's perspective as he gets this reset, and then just, oh my, so much power on that Musty to get that goal. He's going to break the seal on this game in spectacular fashion. We'll see what else he can do. He is just a speedster on the ground. He's not quite like Zapatos, who is another young up-and-comer, but when we've watched him in the past, he has just been a very solid ones player who has it all and loves to pressure and challenge. Nick is going to just cut this ball directly towards the net, and a catch. ApparentlyJack off guard to tie the game up 2-2. So despite the intense clipping from ApparentlyJack, nickdavevick has tied it up. I was actually just got done watching a bout between AJ and nickdavevick on stream. In fact, as far as I know, it was going on when I started to record this video, so they might still be playing against each other. And actually, nickdavevick is playing pretty well against AJ. I think every game I saw, Nick has won. So credit to him for taking down AJ as well in at least a few games. But those were on stream for AJ, so it's always an asterisk you have to include because there seems to be a pretty serious debuff with streaming as far as these top ones players, which is always interesting when players decide in show matches to stream them. Kind of a trade-off between growing the brand and potentially sacrificing some skill in the game. But I'll be honest, I love to see people streaming and taking advantage of their skill. I mean, I hate to do it again, but this is such a great play. Let's watch it from Jack's perspective as a defender. nickdavevick's dribble, reset, and able to slot it over the top of Jack, who just barely can't redirect it off the crossbar now as it falls clean in. Nick wave dash kick off the bump, and the fourth against Jack. There's a good chance that you have seen games with Jack on his YouTube videos already because he, of course, usually records when he is queuing once, as far as I'm aware. So if you guys have seen this, it'll be interesting to see what Jack has to say against nickdavevick. It is a phenomenon that has been nice for the North American Ones scene. If you're a North American Ones fan, you should be excited that Jack is in North America, obviously. But I think one of the factors that are going to become noticeable here in the future, Jack has been trying to do that pogo punch. Nick just barely saved it. The pogo where the ball bounces off the car instead of in front, like the way Dark likes to do it. But I think one of the ways that North America are going to benefit in general from Jack playing these games is people are going to start to recognize that a lot of the ones ranked grinders are, maybe better than they thought beforehand. Because I think when people play well against Jack, everyone recognizes that must be a good player. And before, when Jack was queuing most of the EU, most of the EU grinders are the ones getting the credit for playing well. But now there's going to be some North American players, and I think, if it weren't for the fact that nickdavevick has actually played in a few show matches already, he might be one of those guys that could benefit from playing well against Jack and showing up on his YouTube video, whether he wins the game or not, which right now Jack is tying it up with 2 minutes left to go. So that is something that I hope one day I could help with. And I probably have helped at least a little bit with it, which is, being able to showcase players and have the community at large recognize that they are solid just by virtue of the gameplay that people have seen. You know, I think when players play against Jack, everybody knows that Jack is a good opponent to put up a good game against. And in fact, Nick, he's been doing it everywhere. He went high and showed a couple different clips, but he also has the wherewithal to recognize when Jack is grounded to just go for that low 50 that gave him the lead here in this game. Jack is so good at dicing you up around net. One of the best, I'd say, or if not the best, at the slow dribbles around net, getting a read on the way you're defending and making the play that makes you miss. Right now, Jack is going to go for a wall-to-air dribble. He has played a much more mechanical one style since coming to North America, and he's going to go for the reset off the ceiling and then the ground double, and instead just get scored on. There's been a couple almost here for Jack in this game. He is, you know, on the verge of being up 3 goals and having a couple of nasty clips, but instead has been Nick with the edge in this game. He's actually had a really good wave dash kickoff and interesting defensive retreat from Jack to the back wall. Nick was never really going to be able to take the ball that high with how little boost he had, but a double reset from Nick. He has been popping off in this game. Jack goes soaring underneath the play once again. nickdavevick is an exciting prospect. He is loving the wave dash kickoff like lots of people in ones are right now, but any of the newcomers seem to prefer it. Bit of an awkward reset. I say awkward, but it can be advantageous for it to be awkward because it can make it hard for Jack to read that reset and then shot. But Jack does read it. He's got 30 seconds to make up 2 goals. Jack just gets dunked. He's surprised that Nick decides to stay aggressive. And in fact, this one is a good enough dunk to have Jack just end the game. He thought, no way. You know, we do have Nick on 12 boost. Maybe he should be leaving, but there is a side of you that can think, well, if only I have 12 boost, as soon as I get out to the midfield, I don't stand a chance. So I might as well just try and dunk him now. And you know what? It works out, and it surprises Jack. The new style from nickdavevick, maybe something that Jack hasn't seen. So one thing that I know Jack does say is that he kind of believes in himself in a series. Against any player that he gets to play a few times in a row, he actually has faith to win it. Whereas game ones, he thinks he loses a bit more often before he locks in on the player. And, you know, I do really like to hear that from Jack, somebody who takes the ones game seriously enough to make those kind of adjustments as a match goes on. I don't know if there's tons of players who really are giving it that kind of respect to worry about it too much as much as, you know, just kind of playing their game and making natural adjustments that any player would make, you know, as opposed to the kind of strategy that Jack puts into it. But either way, I'm not trying to put down anybody, just trying to hype up Jack. Great guy. Love his mind for the game. That being said, Nick is just going to beat him here in this game that we watched today. Credit to him. I think you'll see a lot of nickdavevick in the future, and I hope I'll see you guys in the future in the next video.